We've got fishes covered.
Yeah, that's right. You heard me. You heard it correct. He's
Damn
heard
it.
fishes.
He's right.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, what museum do we need to add to the mix?
So excited. Okay.
I love this topic, and I feel prepared. I guess I have a clarifying question. Does the museum have to have people who buy tickets?
No, this is a public service.
Okay, it's free.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unlike any other campus museum.
No, they're all public service, and there's special exhibits you pay extra for. You know, like
None
when
of
the
the
jellyfish.
museums are special service. You pay for all of them.
I guess that's true. Then it's a normal ticket to get in.
I don't
know. I haven't thought enough about museums.
Just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, and just go with what you want.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
it.
Just really just embrace. Come
Tell
on.
me I'm wrong.
Just go
tell
straight
me I'm
to her
wrong
face.
about that.
No, I'm going to be diplomatic. You tell me what kind of museum this is. Some are public service, and you get them for free.
What museum is
and
free?
some of them you could some of like the town history museums, like when you're in
Some are
Lombard
free.
and you want to learn about lilac time.
That's because you went there on a field trip and you had no idea. That
So here's one thing. So the Art
I've
Institute,
never not gone to a museum that wasn't a field trip day.
the Art Institute is free for teachers. So even if you're unemployed but you used to be a teacher and your ID still says 2019, you can get it for free.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
That's a fun fact for anyone.
And that's good for our
Who would
listeners.
know that?
And that's good for
that
our
might be good
listeners
for
to
our
know
listeners.
that.
I don't know.
Who would know that?
I know that.
Okay, so let me just start off by saying I have an unfair advantage in this fight. And that is that I led Segway tours for years to museum campus, and I know it like the back of my hand. And I know what is needed.
I feel
know
like you
what's
also are
lacking.
at a disadvantage because you led Segway tours for years.
Yeah, that's also just going to cripple you.
It's stunted by emotional growth. And a red-winged blackbird landed on my helmet and pecked at me.
I've gotten pecked by those birds before.
They're aggressive.
They're very good.
Anna, do you have any clarifying questions?
No, I get it.
You get it. Okay, fair
Get
enough.
it.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, actually, I have one.
Okay, you don't get it.
So a whole new building's getting built at museum campus.
Yep, going to take up some of the beachfront, whole new museum.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right there by Lake Point Tower. Sure.
All right.
So
By Oprah's house.
yeah, she lived in that
You know,
building.
it's the only building that is east of Lakeshore Drive.
I'm sure I taught you that.
Yeah, Ian taught me that. I went on a Segway
And
tour.
it's east of the Edens Expressway.
It's east of Eden's. Wow.
And it's only there by a very weird loophole. Anyway, I'm ready to go.
Go, dog, go.
Okay.
That's our second Go Dog Go drop.
And
I think we
Yeah.
talked about it
I
last
like
week.
makes
dropping
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I think honestly, museums, they have gotten to this thing. They've gotten to this weird habit over the past 50 or so years where they're just informational. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're
Yeah.
just only providing sort of like history and information and cool exhibits. And like, I think it would be good to have a museum that maybe is just dedicated to stores. So like a store museum. And
Wow.
like
Okay.
you could, it's basically like you could go into one of the stores and you could buy things in the store, and there's maybe like a court like where everybody could gather, and maybe there's a fountain in it, and there's like Chinese food, and there's like a Sbarro, and there's
like
a Starbucks.
a section for stores that sell food that you eat.
Yeah, and that's like, I'll call it a food court, and like, and I think what would be cool too is sort of not just like big chain stores, but having local merchants have kiosks in the halls of the
Wow.
of the museum. And so this is a store museum that I'm describing, and I think what would be cool is if instead of paying admission, you're just paying for the goods that you purchase.
So you
Okay.
don't buy a ticket.
So you don't buy a ticket, and the money does not necessarily go to the museum. It goes to the business who has the exhibit.
I like it because it's interactive.
Yeah, the store
Right?
exhibit.
A lot of
Very
museums right now don't have like, with the exception of a few,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of interactivity. You're just learning, right?
True.
You're not touching, you're not handling. Like you can't go to the art museum and you can't say
Well,
like, let me get my hands on
I
that
know.
Monet.
And imagine this exhibit. It's like a Hollister exhibit.
Yeah.
And I go into a
Wow.
Hollister or
Yeah.
maybe like a Zoomies exhibit.
Yeah.
And
Zoomies.
I go into it and I feel the clothes and
Yeah.
maybe like the curator is there and asks me like, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
We just got our new spring line in.
Yeah.
And I say like, no, I'm just browsing.
It's so interactive.
Yeah, you know what I would like is a Spencer's exhibit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to get like a poster of like the Boondock Saints.
Right.
Can I ask a quick
Right, and also
clarifying
like,
question?
hang on, I'm talking about Spencer's. I want a poster of like the Boondock Saints, and then like a cool lamp, and then I want to walk with my friends to the section of like the sex stuff. I don't
No,
know.
my question's about Spencer's.
Okay, yeah, what?
what is the target age for Spencer's?
Like 11 to 16.
Well, that's a whole debate topic.
Hold on.
Yeah.
In the museum, the target age for Spencer's is, 2 to 82, 2 to 92.
Because that's who can get into the museum.
Because that's who can get in. But, I
So
think...
you're saying a mother, like a mother with a newborn cannot come in?
No.
Okay, keep going.
And that's not my fault.
No.
That's
Super
That's the law.
That's the city.
Yeah, keep going.
And the art isn't for everybody, and this is art.
Absolutely.
Anyway, this I would love to see like a Hot Topic, and there's like a bunny that's actually very demented on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And then you have thick leather wristbands
And
there.
an Invader Zim necklace.
And Courage the Cowardly Dog.
You can't get that at the planetarium
And
right
Elaine
now.
Bryant for your mom.
Yeah, because you don't have to hang out with your mom at this museum,
No.
and you have to do that at every other museum. You have to go with your family from exhibit to exhibit.
At this age in life, some of you pushing 30 more than others of us. How often are you at a museum with your mom?
More than you could ever hope to imagine.
You couldn't even hope to imagine. You couldn't even dream of imagining.
I despair to imagine.
Here's Anna. Here. Meanwhile, Anna sitting here recording this podcast is hoping beyond hope that she could imagine
That she could
Nick and his mom.
No, Nick and my mom.
How do you think your mom and I would get on? Like if we just had to be together for a day.
Oh, man. You think you're both really chatty?
Yeah.
And neither of you necessarily have to listen in a conversation.
Yeah.
So I think you do well.
Probably great. How would Ian do?
It's fine. It's fine.
I think you would get you're way more I need to listen, please, kind of, and therefore you'd be exhausted after 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so funny that most people would peg Nick and I for the same, but you see the subtle differences, don't you?
I mean, actually, honestly, I don't recommend either of you going to the mall with my mom.
Wait, what mall? We're talking about museum.
Museum.
Wow, that's interesting. I made that mistake. Keep talking about your museum.
I just think that the museum would have an exhibit for everybody, an exhibit for, maybe there's an American Girl doll exhibit where girls could go and, again, purchase actual items from the exhibit.
You're really, this sounds really interesting. I mean, is there a little section of little animals that if you insert a quarter you can ride and they kind of bounce you around?
Ooh, I'm
cool is that there's
imagining a
season.
whole section of like the kiosks that sell little animals that you put on the ground and they go
Yeah, and they're
and
annoying.
then they flip.
It's
And
interesting.
parents say, we don't need that, it'll break in a week.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. We can all picture exactly what Ian's describing.
Yeah,
I wonder
and-
why that is.
Can I just add one quick detail to this
Because
museum?
I want to hear about Anna's, but yours is really engaging. But continue.
Yeah, okay, so there's a rotating seasonal exhibit.
Okay.
And this exhibit, this sort of display, depends on the prominent holiday of the time. So around Christmas, there's
Year's.
there's a Santa that comes out, and you can sit on the lap for $14. You can get your children's picture taken. So that's another little thing, and I think that Museum Campus could use that sort of holiday cheer. So that's my museum.
Cool.
All right, that's
Very cool.
That's actually dovetails really well into what my museum idea is.
What is it?
Mine is, I think, gonna do well in Chicago. I think it is something that people will absolutely feel like is appropriate
Can't
here.
wait to hear about what it is.
My idea
Buttering.
is the Museum of Violence.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think Chicago at Museum Campus needs a Museum of Violence. Again, I don't think anyone is wondering why. I think everyone's like, yeah, okay. We've got jellyfish at the shed.
Yeah.
We've got the big dinosaurs at the field. We need some battery at the Museum of Violence to really round out the true Chicago experience. So yeah, I mean the Museum of Violence is pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Because what do people say about you're going to Chicago? Be careful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I was trying to move to Chicago, my parents were super against it, and they literally sat me down divorced. They still sat me down in the same living room. And I know, it was interesting. My parents always found common ground over disciplining me. And I was like, you couldn't have found common ground on anything else. other than disciplining
Telling
me.
you what not to do.
So, yeah, they pulled out a bunch of stats about why I should not move to Chicago. And then I did anyway.
They're like, the traffic is so bad. The humidity is like 83%
right, you're going to get
bullets.
shot. Yeah, the humidity is mostly bullets. So all that to say, like, I think a museum of violence. And, you know...
What kind of exhibits would
Yeah,
we
tell me about the exhibits.
Well, I know Chicagoans are also just really into, like just like holistic experiences. So it's one of those things where you can go in. It's super safe. You're not going to get hurt. I mean, as planned. There's no plan to hurt you. You might get hurt.
It's like a haunted house. Like, they can't touch you.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, here's an exhibit on, like, domestic violence. Here's an exhibit on, like, a gunshot wound. Here's an exhibit. Absolutely, there's a couple on waterboarding. Like, you know, like, what was it like in ancient China to have the samurai's death? You know, with the sword that you know, do all these...
Japan, but that's okay. We would learn that at the museum.
Yeah, and that actually...
That's why we need the museum. Thanks,
Yeah.
Nick.
In Pangea, Japan was in Chicago.
Yeah, so
It's all relative.
it's relative. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
I'm imagining an exhibit of you just walk in and it's just guys just punching each other.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
so there's like a whole exhibit
Yeah.
on like, you know, hand-to-hand combat. But there's like,
Yeah.
you know, like a bar fight
Yeah.
in one corner, and then off over here,
And
it's
like Jeffrey Dahmer's garage.
Absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely.
Cool, that's
and
awesome.
And also, but it explores why is there violence, and also, I mean, before you can see any exhibit, you have to watch Cain murder Abel. I mean, that's
have to.
That's where it starts, yeah.
yeah, that's where it starts.
They find video of
I like that. It's like that Answers in Genesis
Right.
museum, like the Ark, but
Yeah.
you're just starting a little sooner.
And I'm not
Cain and
saying
Abel.
that is the narrative of the origin of violence or anything that anyone needs to believe, but it's at least buttering you up that
Sure.
as
priming.
old as the conscience is as old as violence is. So it's just it's not just, you know, watching people knock each other around. We got WWE for that. It's really to kind of explore why is there violence and what are the different types of violence and what does it say about someone for the types of violence that they choose.
Oh, yeah. There's like a whole kink thing.
Yep, there is. And
Okay.
so,
What?
can I rebut in?
Yeah,
Butt
pop
in.
in.
I'm going to rebut in. Why haven't we used rebut in yet? Because that's smart, and I'm smart. I would like to say my primary rebuttal here is there already is a museum of violence on museum campus, and that's Soldier Field, and that's like boys hitting each other for money. And
Boys will
why
be
is there money?
boys.
Why are they doing it? For money. And you can go up there and you could see Northerly Island, which used to be Meg's Field, and that was violently torn in Exon, and
Wow, this is you just flexing your segue.
Yeah, and you know what?
Which is
I
like
have to-
not don't flex.
out.
I told you, I had
Don't.
I have an advantage. I have an advantage.
Time out. The way you constructed that sentence was so efficient. That was violently torn an X in. I knew exactly what you
Wow.
meant because I'm from Chicago.
Thank you.
But
And
it makes no sense outside of you
For those of
explaining
you who
it.
need a little bit more context, I'll provide some context.
I think all you've done is iterate the need for a violence museum in Chicago. I think you've actually like affirmed the idea that like actually that's really what the city needs
Okay.
because of the expressions of violence that we have.
So I go to Soldier Field, which was once the best NFL stadium in the country, and now
Is
it's
that
the
true?
worst.
Shit.
And I would say that you're paying good money to see men be extremely violent to each other and cause concussions and to cause brain damage.
See, but that's the thing is like at the Museum of Violence, there's actually no one's really getting hurt.
Okay, so what would you rather have, something fake or something real?
Well, the purpose of my Museum of Violence is to explore so much more about like why do we have violence. There's
Without the fear of actually being injured.
Yeah,
it's like an
no
amusement park.
No, I don't want anyone
Yeah.
like actually getting
Okay.
shanked.
Yeah,
So I'm just
you
saying,
just
like-
want to see like someone's entrails ripped from their body by a Viking, but not actually
Right.
feel that.
Okay, so here's what I'm...
Absolutely. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
You get me.
I get it. But continuing.
Sure. Okay, so have you ever heard of like... What's a good movie? Hold on. Have you guys ever seen an M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh, I've seen at least 3.
Okay, so
I like all of them.
in those movies and in similar movies such as The Exorcism, Emily Rose and The Exorcism,
Oh, that movie made me so scared when I was little.
there's some scary movies
Really
out there.
scared.
Have you ever seen Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
No, dude, too much for me.
I have
I
seen
saw
that
the,
one.
the trailer like kind of did.
Okay, so these
Sometimes
movies...
I've seen Paranormal Activity, and sometimes when I'm looking at a baby monitor, I still get spooked.
Oh no, that's valid. I looked into a baby monitor recently, and that little baby was kind of sleepy. He still had little scary eyes.
Yeah, that's like in what's that one movie, Train Spotting, where the baby's head spins around. Okay, all that to say, these movies are exhibits of violence, and these movies, I'm imagining in my sort of store museum, there is a place where you can pay to see these types